case, welcome to the Campfire Passport podcast. You've got me, Sean, Colin, and Tyson. And then for about this much, if you're listening to the audio version, this much is about 20 minutes of Mike on the podcast as well. He was supposed to be there a little earlier, but he had a bedtime malfunction and he did not make it. So, but we did get to catch up with him. I did mention in there a couple of things that I'm sure he's going to tell us we're wrong about on the next podcast, but you know, such is life. That's what we do. We go through some rig update stuff, just normal BS, really nothing crazy, no big topic this time. We talk a little bit about what makes Colin mad on the internet, which is a lot of things. We just scratched the surface.
Yeah, where to start?
Exactly. Otherwise, yeah, just enjoy the show. Like, comment, subscribe, buy our new shirt about Land Cruisers. It's so cool. Anything else, Colin?
No, let's get into it.
I feel like my one topic we need Mike for, though. It's not even a topic. It's just a soundboard clip that we need to go through a little bit.
Mike's opinion, always welcome.
It is. And it's usually interesting. That's a good way to say it, right?
That's definitely accurate.
Not often unique, but often unique enough.
Yeah. Well, Colin said that we would talk about rig updates and that we would try to carry this long enough that Mike could catch us because he's probably 20 minutes out. But Mike is like notoriously on time. His on time is early, which I very much appreciate. Mine isn't really, but I like it to be if it can be, if that makes any sense. I really like being early, but that's not the way my life works a lot of times. So, you know.
To be on time is to be early. To be, otherwise you're late.
That's right.
It's the old saying that I just made up.
Okay. Well, Tyson, what happened? What happened to your Jeep?
This is a good topic, and it will take some time. So, after an outing where we got to see Raw Dog go raw,
Dog.
I was really determined to get up a specific line, so determined that I went foot to the floor, caught air, did not remove foot from floor, and shocked the drivetrain coming back down. The harmony of everyone watching with the collective "oh" as the metallic ping bang breaking sounds occurred. So upon disassembly, found that the front ring and pinion in pieces, numerous teeth left in the oil. The rear Dana 44 that I put in with the lunchbox broke both axle shafts. That was awesome.
Were those stock axle shafts, I'm assuming?
Yep. Yeah, they were stock out of the 88 Jeep donor vehicle. Because I wanted to keep the lunchbox, and with the splined ends of the axle shaft still in the locker, I ended up having to cut the carrier apart and got the shop press to push out the stubs. So it's fortunately the locker is reusable, carrier not so much because it got cut in half.
Didn't you say you had the wrong carrier or something?
So I thought I had a spare. Okay. And that was because I bought a I bought the lunchbox in a carrier, but I put the lunchbox from my from that one into my carrier, thinking, what the hell, I'll have a spare. If it came out of this axle, it's probably going to go easier back into this axle. Logic at the time that made sense. So
Yeah.
putting the lunchbox in the what I thought was a spare, turns out it's called a carrier brake, I believe, where depending on the ratio of your ring and pinion, the carrier is going to be a different shape to facilitate more or less teeth on that ring. So without doing any research, I put the lunchbox in the spare, put the new 488 ring on it, threw it in the back, and I had, I don't know, a half-inch worth of backlash. So I grabbed every single shim out of the kit and set pinion depth, at 250 thousandths worth of shims, which is a 1/4 inch.
You start measuring in a different way.
And that got it down to about a 1/4 inch of backlash, and I just could not figure it out. And so it was a day and a half of between work and other weird projects on the Jeep before figuring out that carrier brake difference. And so figuring that out, Amazon has a brand new Yukon carrier that I need for $100. So
That's pretty good. That's pretty good
not
price.
Bad. Could be a lot worse.
Make nice stuff for that kind of price point. That's great.
Yeah. I mean, now I can say I've got some Yukon stuff. I can put the Yukon sticker on the Jeep now, and
Man.
yeah, everyone's going to be impressed.
Yeah.
So, I also ended up getting replacement ring and pinion. When I broke everything, I initially thought I broke both front and rear ring and pinion. So I preemptively ordered new gears. Upon disassembly, finding out the axle shafts breaking, ordered chromoly replacements. So I will break something a lot more serious next time. Hopefully U-joints, maybe. That's probably the weakest point at this time. But yeah, I will find out. Man, what else?
Is that hold on, before we go too far, we've had this conversation 100 times, I'm sure. So, but is that a Dana 30 in the front of that still?
Still a Dana 30. It is from Mike's TJ project.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
He had the chromoly axles with the the 488 gears already in it.
Yeah.
So rather than source 488s for the high pinion 30 that was in the Cherokee from the factory and the stock axles, Mike gave me a killer deal with the low pinion 30 chromoly axles, the gears that I wanted, that I inevitably broke. So
yeah, I mean,
breaking even here.
Yeah, I'm sure that someone will tell me I'm wrong here, but is the high pinion more desirable in that scenario?
Yeah,
that's what I'm told.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's mostly clearance, though. It's not actual strength, I don't think, right? Just because
I am not sure how strength-wise it would be superior.
There is something to be said about the way that the
because of which
Really?
side it drives from, because it changes the coast side and drive side. So, and it's basically that when you have a high pinion diff, the theory there is that it runs on the stronger side of the ring gear rather than the weak side. So,
well, I found the weak side.
Yeah. Yes, you did.
Yeah. I don't know if being a high pinion would have made that much difference.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to say at that case that the amount of carnage you had in there. It's hard to say if it would have been any better, really. But yeah, it's too late for that now.
Yeah.
And Colin, you hit it right on the head, by the way. I just Googled it. And yeah, it's because of the way that that the pinion,
because of the way that
rotation it goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because of the way that it is. Anyways,
Yeah.
Dana 30's break. We know that.
Yeah, Dana 30's break. I'm riding this one as long as I can until I can find a 44 that makes sense. Or I do enough damage to everything that full-size tons are the way to go. Colin and I have been talking about the Ultimate Adventure from Motor Trend.
Four-wheeler.
Are we allowed to name drop that? Do we get money for that yet?
No.
Ah,
If
dang
only.
No, we're gonna get a letter in the mail that says, "Please
Yeah.
please
Don't
do
mention
not
our
talk about us on your
don't
show."
mention our dead magazine.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep our name out of your mouth. But there's an XJ on there on tons, and it's so cool. I love
On the most recent
watching
one?
that thing go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can't figure out for sure, but I'm pretty sure it's on 42s because it's got the 20-inch wheel Patagonias, and I think that means 42s. I don't know for sure. They're ugly tires, but that thing is awesome.
Yeah,
it is.
It's super
It looks
cool.
like an RC car.
It
It's
does
ridiculous.
because the tires are 100% outside of the body. It looks just like an RC car. Yeah.
Man, I feel bad for Mike because I'm going to say something that I'm sure he's going to want to comment on, and he won't be able to comment on it until he's listening to this in the car. But I've been watching that as well, and it's a lot of fun. It's a good thing. They cover it usually pretty good, but I always feel like they leave some things to be desired. But anyways, the thing I was going to say is that the guy that won the Onyx Challenge, the Bleep and Jeep people,
yeah.
I don't know who that guy. Yeah, okay. With an S10. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's a cool rig, the Square Body S10 that he's got. It's leaf springs front and rear. It's 110 stuff as well. But I noticed that guy drags the diff on that truck everywhere. And I was thinking to myself, I wonder if that's because it's a 14 bolt and everybody shaves 14 bolts that are like building crazy rigs. And if you're not, building a wild rock crawling rig, you're probably not shaving it down. And then obviously it sticks way down. So I think 40s plus that compared to the guys on 42s, which there's a bunch of them in that, on that run. So I think that's also a thing that we're probably going to see more and more and more of is, JKs and JLs on 42s and then everything else to follow. So race to the big tire. Anyways,
tires.
It just seemed like it was dragging that all over the place, whereas some of the people, no problem at all.
I believe Colin made an excellent observation about my Jeep because I've been doing all of the work to it while it's sitting on jack stands. And the height that it's sitting, I believe Colin mentioned that it would be at 42s. So a great mock-up of the future.
Just how tall it would
Something
sit.
to look forward to. Yeah.
How long do you think you can keep a Dana 30 alive?
Around the block,
Man,
maybe.
I would love to find out.
Your driving style would getting out of the shop might be tricky.
It didn't make it out of the shop exactly.
Yeah, it's
especially
not a lot of
so to continue on with the vehicle update.
Yeah, please do.
I managed to, so while waiting for the carrier for the rear, I was doing some work on the front, and that fortunately I didn't have to cut the carrier apart. It's an open front, so it just tore up the ring and pinion. New ring and pinion on there, got everything shimmed up, started mocking up the pinion preload, technical jargon. got a really nice pattern on the ring and pinion, and I see there's a spider gear with a broken tooth. And I went, damn it. So the only logical thing, because I have this really nice pattern, I spent all this time getting up, crawling back down. Again, it's on jack stand, so I'm getting on a creeper, rolling under it, doing all this stuff, and then getting up, changing shims. It's a lot of freaking work. It sucks.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get a lunchbox for the front, I've decided. So it was kind of between a helical, because our good friend Jeff Bezos, please sponsor us. He has killer deals on the helical gears, differentials, as well as the lunchbox, but went with the lunchbox because that's tried and true. Wouldn't have to reset the nice pattern that I have. All I have to do is put actual bearings on rather than the setup bearings, and go from there. So waiting on that to show up, and then I'm certain I will break more things.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what your experience is like with that. I know that again, Mike, shout out to Mike. He's gone through all these combos, it seems like, and he has all the he's
a fantastic resource when it comes to Jeep stuff. He has had so many different configurations, and I'm really eager to hear what he has to say, his input, but also knowing our different driving styles.
Well, yeah, they're a little different. I don't recall him having, in our time, around each other, having a manual off-road rig though too. So that obviously makes a big difference. Just because you're always giving it not full shock, but when your clutch off, there's no damper.
I've always, as we touched on previous podcasts, I kind of follow you guys into certain trends, and when we were into like lowered cars and how I was into drifting and stuff like that, the manual that's the pinnacle. There's no separation between driver and machine, and learning more and more about how to drive off road and these different trails, and that you kind of need this buffer of a hydraulic magic transmission box. It makes a huge difference. Seeing you guys not stall things is kind of got me jealous.
Yeah, it's like the age old thing, and it does carry out in off road. There are definitely people that are the same as the car world, where they really want a manual. They exist, and there's plenty of them, and that's fine. That's a thing you can do, but I think
really like on a decline, a really steep decline, I can just put it in first, and it's just cruise control for me. And watching you ding dongs hit the brake pedal just makes me so happy.
Yeah. Mine's even worse. I don't know why. That's a thing I got to figure out. But it'll like idle up in second gear no matter what I'm doing, and that's like 30 miles an hour. So
it's got a mind of
not
its own.
Not low range, I guess.
More power.
Yeah, it's like, hey, let's go faster. Why are you going so slow? Well, what's left? What do you got to do?
So at this point, I am waiting for the lunchbox for the front, because I do want to make this one of the last times I change gears on this set of axles anyway. I did actually get I ordered a correct inch-pound torque wrench to measure pinion preload. So it's, all the old timers will tell you, there's just a feel for it. And, if you do enough, you have the feel for it. I haven't done enough. I don't have the feel for it. So I want to actually put a number on it. And then everything can go back together and see what breaks next. In the interim, there were some other little things I kind of had back burner. I got a reinforced steering box bracket, which anyone who has an XJ off-roading, I'm sure they know what I'm talking about. The little cast aluminum thing is garbage. And then I put a WJ V8 power steering pump on. Supposed to be an easy bolt-on. It was.
Did the internet tell you that?
Yeah. Internet said so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Colin was around for a lot of it. How many days have we been working on that? Like probably 3 days. I mean, maybe an hour or two.
3
here
days,
and there,
but it's not much time in each day.
Yeah.
Just like finding the next thing.
What was wrong?
So the power steering pump is bolted to a bracket, which is the tensioning portion of the serpentine belt. The bracket is screwed directly into the pump on the XJ. On the WJ, bolts just pass right through. So I had to make a trip to Ace the Helpful Place and find the correct bolts that were just long enough so they didn't go and hit the intake manifold, but not short enough that you can't get a nut on the other end. So
just right.
Yeah, it's got to be Goldilocks zone.
Yeah.
What else? The fitting that the power steering or the pressure line screws into is different, which I found out after installing the new one, and you can't get a wrench on it with the pulley there, so you have to remove it, remove the pulley, remove the thing, swap the thing, put the pulley back on.
Oh my God.
There's so many things that do not swap directly over. So who the hell said this was a direct swap? Internet, for once, being wrong?
Does it have a press-on pulley?
Yes, it does.
Oh my God, I hate those.
Yeah. So it's just
the stupidest thing in the world.
It's all
I hate
work.
it. I want to know who designed that type of pulley and why it lives on power steering pumps predominantly. Like, why? I know there's a reason.
Keyway, like they used to do back in my day.
Back in the old days.
Back in my day,
it was just indexed. That's it. You had a 9/16 bolt that held the damn thing on, and you'd lose the key, the Woodruff key.
Yep.
But you'd have a drawer full of them from the last 18 you did.
I fought the key for my crank on my engine build for I'm going to say a full day, but it was like 3 evenings, kind of like your power steering debacle.
Exactly. It's just punctuated.
And I had to. It ended up being that I had none of them would fit my crank, but they kind of fit, but not enough that it would fall in all the way so I could get the crank pulley on. So I would push the pulley on, pull the pulley off, push the pulley on, pull the pulley off. Jammed the thing in there to the point where I had to like figure out a way to get it out. And then I finally modified it just right. I did a lot of at-home machine work with a file.
Yeah.
And after a couple days of trying that, I tapped it in and it stayed there forever. So it seems fine. But yeah.
Yeah, you friction welded it.
Yeah, for sure. It's not going anywhere. Oh, man. Well, that's good. I mean, I'm excited to see it back on the road. And it really hasn't been that long. So that's good for that much damage.
I am. Oh, yeah, it was carnage for sure. I am excited. I think hearing you guys talk about snow wheeling, and I definitely want to see, Sean, your truck wheeling in the snow. Colin, this will be your first winter wheeling the Waggy in the snow, right?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be, a fun year of firsts.
Yeah, I'm excited for all that, and for other Colin's truck because it's cool.
Yep.
Yeah,
Also,
that's
another
gonna be
first.
Yeah. So that'll be good.
But that's going to be the recovery vehicle, right? Because he's got winches
And
front
he's
and
yeah,
rear.
dual winches. So
Yeah.
he'll be able to. Yeah, he'll be able to pull me out when he's stuck. It'll be perfect.
He'll be able to pull a tree down from both sides and just crush it completely.
Well, as we found out with Colin's JK recently, the Campfire Passport rental JK, by the way. So if anybody rents it,
You
and
can email
thinks that it's been...
secretrsvp@gmail.com.
Anyways, these things never get taken off pavement, of course, because they're in pristine, perfect condition always. But I did drag it down a hill with my winch, which was pretty fun.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Turns
heard
out
about that.
there's got to
That
be
was-
a physics lesson in there somewhere.
Yeah, your winch and your heavy car trying to go uphill.
Yeah,
I thought the LS
Yeah.
was supposed to make things lighter.
it is 250 pounds lighter, but that's not a lot when we're talking about 5,800 or whatever. Yeah, I definitely talked about the last time I got stuck in that exact same spot on the podcast. But I guess I wouldn't say exact same, because I'm definitely, this time I made it at least 6 feet further up the hill, and around the rock that I previously got stuck on, and then found a new rock that I couldn't get over, which, I don't know, stupid mistake, just like the last time. It was almost exactly the same scenario. It was afternoon. Hey, this will only take an hour, which is the nail in the coffin for me every single time.
That's
I got to
my
stop
favorite
doing that.
statement to hear is
Yeah.
it's only going to take X.
Yeah,
And you had to do it out there too. I tried.
I did.
We can just do it. We can just do it at your house, Sean. Don't, like, it's not a big deal. No,
Didn't wanna do it.
I can't be at my house.
I wanted to get out. I wanted to get out. New puppy. That was like, I was like, if I just could get out of the house for a little bit, it'd be nice. Get out in the world and nice fresh air. And so we went out, and the build video,
So much
I
fresh
think,
air.
went great. Everything was nice. It was a great backdrop. I really liked what we did there.
Yeah.
And Colin got the right audio this time. Everything was good. And then I said, I'm going to try that thing again really quick. And then I said, if things go really sideways, I'll just back down. I won't push it too far this time, because I'm not, not looking to spend
Gravity.
all night out here.
Gravity's going to help too.
Yeah. So what happened? I drove up there. I got stuck. And then I thought, what if I went a little further and got unstuck? And I did, until I got stuck again. And then it was very, very, very beached. And it's like the most embarrassing stuck to put out, because it doesn't look like anything. And it really isn't that big of a deal. Like, it's not that bad. But that dirt is like washed out enough, and the rocks are flipped up in a certain way. I don't know. But I just basically planted my axle over a rock. And anybody that's not familiar, 80 series Land Cruisers from the factory at least have steering on the back of the axle instead of the front of the axle. So the tie rod is underneath the diff, and it goes across, obviously, because that's how steering tends to work, is it connects both
It
wheels.
turns both
Anyways,
in the same direction indicated by the steering wheel,
yep,
which is a
that's how it
circle,
works.
so you can turn it.
And back to Tyson for the technical bits. God,
I'm the guy
Anyways.
Sean calls.
you are. I didn't call you for this one though, because your Jeep is still lighter, I think, and broken.
Yeah.
So anyways, I backed
of the
in.
Jeeps.
I packed the axle into the rock, and I didn't really think it was that bad until I couldn't turn anymore. And I was like, man, something's weird. Maybe I popped a power steering line or something. And Colin's like, looks like you bent your tie rod. And I was like, oh, okay. I think you maybe said, it looks like you bent something. And I was like, okay. And I looked under there, and it was like, oh my God, it's got like 6 inches of bend in it, probably. It touched the pinion of the third member, or like the lower, casting part, which sucks. And it was also bent up about half that distance, so it made a nice little V. And that's 1/4 inch DOM. Like it's not like a factory tie rod. And I have a fun thing that I don't think I told Colin yet after this, and Mike will appreciate because he saved my ass, or tried to save my ass, like he always does, because he's the best at that, definitely. So not to discredit Colin, who was there and helped too a lot, but I got super stuck. We kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, and finally, in the grand scheme of pushing it, I popped my front drive line off somehow too. It's not broken. The bolts hit this boulder that I was planted on, and I think it just kind of spun the bolts and bent them, and they might not have been maybe they weren't perfectly tight when I was out there. I didn't recheck it, and they're brand new, and I should have, but again, I was just gonna do a real quick thing. So anyways, I got pretty stuck. And then last time I got stuck like that, we had the Wagoneer, and Colin drove behind me, hooked his winch up, and just pulled me backwards. And it was great. Worked out perfect. This time he had the JK, and so he went behind me, and we grabbed a snatch strap, and I thought, well, he'll just pull me back. Not even close. Didn't budge.
Wasn't moving.
That's when Colin realized, I think, maybe he'd mentioned it before, but like he really saw that the rock that was holding my tie rod was like taller than my axle, and I had just gone over it completely. So, and there was like a cup almost that it was falling into, and it would just hook the truck. So it wasn't going anywhere. So then we had him go to the top, and I pulled my winch out. Luckily, there was enough cable to get us there. We used the snatch strap as like a girdle kind of thing, and tried, and it was not happening. It kept pushing, like, because of the angle, it was pushing the truck down and onto the rock a little bit more. So I don't know where I saw this, but I decided that we could use the snatch strap around a rock, a really big rock that was way higher than the truck. And so we tried that. I think that was I'm pretty sure I saw that on Matt's Off-Road Recovery, which is, of course, my favorite YouTube show. That's not 4-wheel drive 24/7, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see if we can get a YouTube channel to sponsor our YouTube channel. I like this. secretrsvp@gmail.com. Matt, if you want to get a hold of us.
Or 4-wheel drive 24/7. Either one.
Yeah, I mean, either one. I'm not particular. I'll take pretty much anything at this point.
Your American brothers.
Yeah, exactly. So things went pear-shaped
too.
Yeah. Anyways, luckily enough, that trick worked. It worked a treat, as Shauno might say, and got it pulled up there, reset a couple times, got it out. Everything was great. In the meantime, I had called Mike because I was pretty sure there was no way I was going to get it home without different parts. So I had him come to my house, get the other tie rod that I have here, which turns out is my second spare. My first spare, I think I threw away. So that's my fault. And he brought it out with some tools and everything.
The second spare, generally.
Yeah,
the first,
I know. I don't know why I did that. That was a bad move. Anyways, he brought it out, bless his heart, and was like, "Hey, this one's got a broken tie rod end." And I was like, while we were out there, I was like, "Well, whatever. We'll just fix it, and no big deal." We pull out the truck up to the top of the hill. At that point, I realized it actually could drive. Like, it was kind of fine. I pulled my front drive line. I burned the hell out of my wrist on my exhaust because it's all very tight right there. And I drove it up like to the top the rest of the way myself. And I thought, okay, maybe it's fine. What I didn't tell the guys is that part of the reason that I pushed that is because I have different tie rod ends on that DOM tie rod, like the big thick one. The factory ones are smaller diameter. So even if we would have taken it apart and I would have been able to try to fix the spare, I didn't have the right end for it anyways. So whatever, it was fine. In hindsight, maybe we should have tried to pull it straight from the back to see if it would, be a little bit easier on the drive home, but it's like 5 miles at most away from my house. So it wasn't a big deal. So
you got AAA?
I have roadside assistance, and I thought about using it. It's, but I didn't because it was fine. I was so ready to get home.
AAA is so good. I mean,
I've used
there was
Mike's
a
before.
time. I think it was an Edison run, and I broke the Cherokee, and you hung out with me while we waited for the tow truck, which was like an hour and a half away. So
it took a while.
Thanks for that.
Yeah. That
AAA, man.
It's the best. So I blew a tire out at Klein Butte years ago, and Mike and I drove allegedly we drove the rig to the road, and he called, and they were like, "Did this happen off road?" Mm-mm.
No, definitely not.
The tire was destroyed too.
That was so. In order to get the Jeep because after I blew up the axles, the ring gear, out at Klein Buttes, I enlisted Jesse's trailer because he brought Raw Dog on the trailer. And I mean, I saw the trailer and I went, I'm using that. Definitely using that. So I ended up using it. We got it to my house. And then while I lined up parts and figured out space where I could work on it, I called AAA when the time came and say, yeah, I need a tow. And they go, oh my God, are you in a safe space? Yeah, I'm safe. I'm at home. It's at home. Okay. Well, is the vehicle drivable? Definitely not. Oh, do you have any idea what's wrong with it? I think it's
got an idea.
Oh no.
Because I don't want to let them on that, like, I'm going to fix this. I know what's wrong with it. Yeah. Because, I don't know, I have this feeling that once AAA figures out that I know how to work on my stuff, they're going to be like, oh, fuck you, dude. Do it at home.
Tyson, is that you again?
You got into this. You can get out of it.
Oh, that's good.
AAA is my dad.
I already told you.
I told you
I'm not
once.
saving you again.
I told you again.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's I mean, they gotta know, right? They've gotta know people are doing stuff like that, but it's just such a low amount compared to the normal idiots who just run out of gas.
Completely unrelated to anything four-wheel drive, one of my favorite AAA things was Kate and I were in Portland. I had driven my Volvo lowered car. We're, I think, downtown somewhere, but we went to a bar, had some drinks. It wasn't smart to drive. And I thought, what if?
It's like
so I called AAA.
Always Sunny episode.
And I don't know if it was, I felt like I was speaking in perfectly normal English, but apparently the operator could tell. And she said, is this a tipsy tow? And I went, you have a term for it.
Just
because it was, I just started.
Do you have a special service for this?
My car won't start. Could I get it towed back? And yes, we will be riding with the driver, so please.
Can he make a stop along the way?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it'll start in the morning when I'm sober.
I'm like 100. I'm pretty certain that there's either a League or an Always Sunny episode about this very thing. It might be. It's always. Or, I mean, it might be the League because I think it's what's his name, Richard Nick Kroll's character, whatever. I think he does that because he's just shady enough to do it. It's just like you. Of course, you didn't pull it off, so. There is that. You're too honest to be able to make it happen all the way.
Yeah, it didn't make it happen. But, I mean, nothing bad happened, but, yeah, didn't pull it off.
Dang. Well,
they have a term for it, though. It's a tipsy tow.
Tipsy tow. I mean, maybe you should just call and be honest.
Yeah, honesty is the best policy, right? Hey, I need
I'd like
a Tipsy
to
Tow.
get a tipsy. Oh, hold on. Let me transfer you to the TT department.
We see you're up to 4 this year. That's a problem. We're going to need you to enlist in AA.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sister program from AAA. Oh my god. Anyways, I luckily didn't have to use AAA.
Right. You only get 4 tows a year. So just
Yeah. Well, my son has used his toes for the year, so
lowered cars,
that's
man.
pretty sweet.
Lowered cars.
Yeah, there's a whole other conversation to be had there, but
That's a different podcast.
Different podcast, not for today. I did fix my tie rod. I got a new one. Marlin Crawler wouldn't sell me just the rod. Also, they were out of the entire kit, and I didn't want the entire kit, so I went to Trail Gear, your local friendly source for cheap Chinese stuff that works pretty well. So, we'll see. I lined it with Mike's. What brand are they? Not Barnes, I don't think. I don't know. He's got the toe plates. That's what I'm looking for. Toe plates. Yeah. Oh man, those things are a game changer. I have done many a tape measure alignment, and I hate it every single time. Now, most of the time it's lowered cars, and that is much more of a pain in the ass than big trucks.
Yeah.
But
holy shit, being able to just like climb under the truck to do something.
What a godsend.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can reach out. There was a time where I high centered so many things and bent the transmission cross member up that my 4-wheel drive linkage wouldn't work. I just popped the linkage off, just get under there, move it with my hand. No worries.
No worries.
If it were a lowered car, we got to bust out how many blocks of 2x4s, 2x6, and then get the low profile jack out. So dumb. So dumb.
I love them. I still love them, but man,
I can't help myself.
Trucks are a lot easier. Yeah.
But that's why I'm breaking the truck and not the lowered car.
That's right. Because you got it's easier to break.
Yeah. So easy.
Easier to fix.
Guys, watch.
Yeah. I still don't have 4-wheel drive though. I haven't put my front drive line back on. So I put out into the world, hey, let's try to go snow wheeling this week before it's the week of Thanksgiving. So before everybody's like doing family stuff. And as I said that, I was like, it's going to be a little stretch because I'm going to have to put this back together, but we'll see what happens. And here we are. I don't think we're going, so it's fine. Actually, maybe on Sunday, but
okay.
Anyways, different thing. Yeah, that's all I got. Colin, you said you had a thing. What's your thing?
I did have a thing. It was something kind of stupid because it was one of those, laying in bed scrolling things. And, every once in a while, kind of like how we do, I'll toss a clip from the podcast in, and it was like one of those clips, and it was some car podcast. And it frustrated me to the point where I scrolled past it because it was one of the stupidest things I've ever heard someone say. And it just made me think, so we're just saying stuff now. There's literally no, like, we're just saying it to say it because we want to get people to argue on the internet about it or something like
React.
that. Yeah.
The reaction is what it's worth.
So the question was, which even the question is totally stupid because there's no comparison between these two things. But this is the question: was K-swap or LS swap?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, these are not comparable things. For one, we'll just say that.
Sure.
And then the guy goes neither. 350, like as in a carbed 350. He would rather swap that. And he goes, it's going to cost you like $50,000 to get any power out of an LS. What? I'm sorry.
No.
When was that?
Sure doesn't.
I mean, if he's talking like 50,000 horsepower, sure.
Sure, yeah.
I'm going to say, I think Sean is going to back me up on this, that a K Series is better than a small block Chevy.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
like,
yeah.
Now, Turbo K24
I can agree with that too.
Again,
that sounds
like Colin
cool.
started this here, this is context based, right? Like, if I had a Miata and I had those three options, I might pick a K-swap. If I had a 64 C10, definitely going to do an LS, right? Like that's kind of might do a K-swap. I don't know. That's like the way that works, right? But like without any context, that's stupid. And a 350, like, okay, maybe the guy's got who knows, whatever vehicle that he thinks that belongs in, maybe, sure, but it's still stupid.
It wasn't even that though. There was
doesn't make any sense.
He had no context for it other than
just nothing.
That the K-swap isn't worth it, and an LS doesn't make enough power. But apparently, the 350, a carbureted 350, makes power. Like, I mean,
sure.
Like, it's literally just saying things just to say it. That's all it was. And I was just like, I can't deal with this. And I just like, I didn't look at whose podcast it was or anything, because I was like, you guys are completely out. Like, I'm not. If I see this come across my thing again, I'm
Colin's
flagging
over at the
like,
cork
get out of
board
here
with the red string, just
middle of the night. I can see him just run away to the garage.
Yeah.
I gotta figure this out.
I can't sleep.
I saw a not the same kind of thing, but I saw a Instagram reel from, I think it's like Brendan Schaub. He's a like comedian guy, right? Or he's a Joe Rogan adjacent kind of guy. Brendan Schaub, that's it. I think it's him, but I might have to double check my work here because I don't want to say this if it's not him, but I'm going to say it anyways. He like has this Instagram reel where he buys a Lightning, a second generation Lightning, and then
not McQueen. Got it.
Yep, no, Ford Lightning. Sorry, F-150 Lightning, not the electric one.
No, for the round bubbly one.
The bubbly one with the supercharger.
Yep.
Takes it apparently to a dyno and it makes like 180 wheel horsepower. And then he says to the camera that like there's all sorts of fuckery going on with this thing and it's like way too modified, blah, 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 blah. Can't figure out what's wrong with it. The dyno shop says, well, I don't know, because it's just a tuner, probably not an actual mechanic shop. So he takes it to a Ford dealership. Why? I don't know. And they tell him, quote, the problem is the ECU is from some Australian Mondio or something. Like he makes like some word up, and I'm like, oh my god. And so I just kind of let it like slide for a second, and I just was gonna move past it. I wasn't gonna get the string board out and try to figure it out. I was just gonna move right past it. But you know how Instagram now does this thing where it shows you like the top comment when it goes away. Yeah. And the top comment was like, this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. And then I was like, oh, I got to read the comments. And so I start reading the comments and people are just blowing him up. There's one that was just like, you don't know anything.
So there's actually a term for this. I believe it's Cunningham's law that the best way to find the right answer is to not ask a question, but to post the wrong answer. Because you immediately get just a billion people saying, you're wrong. This is the correct information.
There was
so I can't wait for someone to say in the comments that it's not Cunningham's law.
There was a guy...
you're right.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Best way to get the right answer on the internet. So on the internet specifically is not to ask a question. It's to post the wrong answer. And I'd say that absolutely rings true.
There was
That
a guy.
makes sense.
There was a guy on Instagram that was talking about how he's a programmer, like he codes for a living, and if he ever has a problem, he's got 2 Reddit accounts, and one of them he pretends that he's a girl, and so he'll post the question, and then he'll answer it as a girl, and then everyone will correct the girl. Like, no, but they won't answer the question. Like, if he just posted it, they wouldn't answer the question. But like, same thing.
No.
It's like
Humans are so dumb.
It's the only way. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the incel answer.
Oh, man. Bye, Mike. It was nice of him to join us for a little bit.
I'm not
was
gone.
Well, you missed a lot.
Sounds like it. I had a normal bedtime all the way up until Miles didn't dry off his feet, jumped up onto a wooden stool to brush his teeth, fell off the wooden stool, and hit his face into the same wooden stool. It was like a like on Scooby-Doo when they just flip exactly where they are and land on their face. Just like that. And so then it turned into we're gonna calm down from this. We're gonna figure this out.
Oh, my God.
All while wearing a Batman towel, the one that has like the hood and the ears and everything. So I'm like walking to the other room to go get his jammies ready, and all I see is this black streak, and bam.
Oh, my God.
Oh, poor guy.
I see you've replaced your Jeep with a piece of exercise equipment.
Yes.
So that's a good move.
I figure if the cheapest way to off-road is with your own 2 feet, so I'm going to start getting into shape. No, we bought that.
Regular backpacking instead of car backpacking. Got it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Every time I've been snowshoeing, I think this is like really slow snow wheeling with a lot more effort.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
Well, a lot more effort until until the rig gets stuck. Then typically we're putting in a hell of a lot more effort to get unstuck than you would just walking.
Exactly. I've also never gotten myself stuck snowshoeing, and I've gotten myself stuck snow wheeling many times.
Snowshoe wheeling.
Yeah, but I
wish I had the snowshoes a lot of times.
I could turn the heater up while we're snow wheeling. And,
much warmer.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. We went over a bunch of build updates that were not really updates. Mostly it was just talking about Tyson's broken Jeep and how he's fixing it.
Yeah, and I'm so excited about that.
Yep. Slowly. We made a bunch of bold claims about Dana 30s that you're going to yell at when you hear this in the car in a week or whatever. So
that's fine.
I did Google it, by the way. And so that's all I want to say.
Yeah, it's got the same C gussets and ball joints and all that stuff as the Dana 44 from the same era. But
Didn't say that.
Oh, they do. It's the gussets you can buy are the exact same because the outer C's are like the exact same. You can use the same hubs as the Rubicon 44s of the same era, but the ring gear is a little bit smaller, and that's the fusible link there on most of those, unfortunately.
Shrinkage.
Yeah.
Shrinkage. Well, how about your rig?
I got all my insurance stuff. Which is great.
Yeah.
So, I told that story on here already, right? That I got rear-ended. Yeah.
Yeah.
So all that stuff showed up. I now have my aluminum steering, which is apparently fine, but we can talk about that in depth another day, depending on how much time you guys have.
Oh man.
I have a much bigger transfer case skid. I have a new transmission crossmember that is like 3 times as thick and beefy. So that won't get destroyed anymore. I have sliders now. I have a swing-away tire carrier bumper. I have a full-size spare with a matching tire, the same tire on my spare, which I'm really excited about.
Same wheel, too, right?
I know. Yeah. It's all matching. So, well, I had the same wheel on there for some time. I just had a 35-inch tire that was similar. It wasn't even the same, brand, and not the 37-inch size that it needed to be. So, otherwise, that's about it. I have exhaust manifolds, bought those. They're right here. I still just turn the check engine light off every morning. instead of fixing those.
They're so little.
Yeah.
Are they cracked or something?
Yeah, exhaust manifolds are cracked, and then I have some sort of like gas vapor system leak that apparently is from when it fell on its side. There's like a ball valve somewhere that either like gets flipped and you have to replace some sort of the emissions vapor system, etc. That shows up as the gas cap being loose constantly. So I have both of those.
Man,
some
fancy
sort of
cars.
evap thing.
Yeah, and it sucks. And it's just as likely that I have a problem with the evap at 160,000 miles as it's this like you rollover sensor that goes mad if you do that so that it doesn't leak gasoline out of the evap system. But I've replaced that part once already and it didn't go away. So I don't know.
So it's just the gas cap.
I might never do anything about it. Yeah, I've had 3 gas caps on it. I even went so far as to go get a Mopar one. It's not the gas cap. I know, it's so mad. Every time, too, I'll see a gas cap for sale. It's like, it's like $14. I might as well try again. And I'm like, nope. Still the same, huh? Shoot. It did go away for like, I don't know, 3 weeks at one point.
Is there like a weather difference?
No. Like,
barometric pressure was unusually low.
Yeah. It was after I put the bumper on. I put that new tire carrier bumper on, and it went away for a couple weeks. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like,
yeah, until the springs settled.
Yeah.
Weird. When we built the Gambler 500 car, the lifted Crown Vic, it had that silly Ford like shock shutoff scenario. Yep. We found that out in the desert.
The little reset that's in like the passenger footwell thing.
Yeah, I think this was in the trunk for some reason, if I remember right. But wherever it was, it stranded us for a while until I figured it out.
Just one little button.
Oh my god! Well, imagine you're driving your 8-inch lifted Crown Vic on donk suspension at 50 miles an hour through some very minor whoops.
I do.
Having the time of your life, and all of a sudden it just dies. And you're like, oh man, did we not put gas in this thing? What's wrong? No, it's got gas. It's got this, it's got that. All this, like, what's wrong with this? And we're a car full of car guys. Not one person in the car didn't know what was, anything about cars. And finally, I just sat there and Googled it until somebody was like, hey, did you try it's like a fuel shutoff valve or something. I forget what it actually is. A rollover valve. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, it's a fuel safety something like that. Yeah.
So sure enough, I found that thing, clicked the button, and off we went.
Good to go.
And the crazy thing, I think we bypassed it after that because there's like a way to bypass it so you don't have that problem. Yeah, smart. Because I jumped it 2 weeks later and broke both front shocks before the race. The rally, I guess we'll call it.
I was going to ask if you had a hammer.
I'm trying to remember. I might have actually been driving when the fuel cutoff happened too. So
it's a you.
Nice. Maybe I was bad luck. Yeah. Might have been bad luck. Yeah.
So like one of the highest aggregate mileage vehicles in the world, most reliable, 500, 600,000 mile vehicles. Sean broke twice.
Yeah, but they were all dumb things, right? I think they actually make like reasonable suspension parts for those now, but they were just starting to get popular. So the only lift kit we could find was literally, it was like donkparts.com or something. And it was like $199. And I was like,
you're a reputable source for...
Yeah.
You got like a notepad esque like printed out thing for the instructions, and it was basically like, put the springs in. End of story. Here's some drop brackets for everything else.
Copy of a Post-it.
Yeah, exactly. It was not good. Not good at all. I saw we talked about SEMA 2 podcasts ago or something like that, but I don't know if I mentioned this. It was kind of cool. I saw the Donkmaster guy and his group of people. Like, no, only 2 cars, so just him and one other guy do the roll in and the roll out, like of the actual show floor.
Yeah.
It was cool. I think donks are awesome. I think that you have to have probably like a mild sense of humor to like really be into them. And I'm not super into them. I just think they're like outrageous and cool. And I always wondered what it would be like to see one try to turn a 90-degree corner, and it delivers. It's great because those two at least are like
You can
outrageous, like
motors.
motors.
Only so much, but
Yeah.
circle moves in other dimensions.
It'd
Those
be
are
like
10-second cars.
Yeah, they're fast cars.
Yeah.
And they don't have great turning rates. So,
Yeah,
but God, they look good doing it.
Yeah.
Give everybody a good chance to watch them, hanging out for a little bit. But
so it's like akin to the real VIP cars that are static and crazy low and only have like a quarter of a steering wheel turn in order to do any turning, but just like completely opposite of why.
Yeah, exactly. Same problem, different way to get there.
Yeah.
They've arrived at the same place.
So far, yet so close.
I think we can all appreciate some level of those just weird car culture things, donks, Bipu, VIP cars. But I think I can speak for all of us that the Carolina squat can go away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan. I will. So that's an interesting thing. I think a well done bro-dozer is in that realm for me of like, oh yeah, I can appreciate that it's like this one's done well. The other ones are garbage or whatever, but the squat thing is too much.
I would rather
that's just
see
one
like
too far.
put a bro-dozer into like a CTSV, because they're definitely not going to be into a Lexus. They're not going to be into a Mercedes. Like, put them in a luxury American car and spend that kind of money on it. But the huge wheels, like we had that Hummer that was in the shop on 24s, like 37s on 34-inch
the
wheels.
24s aren't even that big anymore.
Well, his low profile mud terrains sure made them look awfully big and stupid.
Yeah, not my favorite thing.
Yeah.
But that's a personal opinion, and no one asked for it.
That's true.
I think literally
Thanks for
this
still
is the only
listening.
place where we're asking for those. It's called a podcast. We're supposed to just sit here and talk. So Tyson, you got any more?
Boy, do I. But we're going to save some content for later.
Yeah. We don't want to go dry here.
Yeah.
We've done over an hour, so we don't want to be pushing it too far on Tyson's thoughts.
If you have any requests, email secretrsvp@gmail.com. Please.
That's right.
Please.
Hey, Colin, that's a great shirt idea. Just a shirt that says secretrsvp@gmail.com. Please.
Yeah, the inside jokes just keep getting deeper.
Yeah.
More and more inside.
They become merch.
Yeah.
Yeah. 40% of us will buy one.
I mean, that one, I'm sold on that one.
We got to get the word out.
Oh man.
How else are we going to get the word out if we're not doing it through Mike's email address?
I think
And
it's
then
the
on
only
the back,
way.
like and subscribe.
That's right. Got to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of an introvert, so I don't comment on things.
I am. I'm the opposite. I'll tell you what I think every single time.